Welcome to Coffee and Candor. This is Chris.
Ross.
Brandy.
Amber.
And we have several topics.
Local bullshittery.
Well, some of it's not local. But we're going to start off with the namesake of this episode, Snovid21.
That was interesting.
So, we here in the great state of Arkansas got record snowfall.
It was like the most winter precipitation we've had in over 100 years.
Yep. We got 15 or 16 inches here in central Arkansas. And we shut down for a week.
The whole state. We're done.
Yeah, it really sucked. Because you never know what you're out of in the kitchen until you have to get shut down for a week. I don't really, have this overwhelming, burning desire to leave the house a whole lot because I don't like people as a general rule.
But when that option is taken away,
yeah, when I can't leave the house,
You want to go everywhere.
then I become stir crazy. So
I just want to go to a store.
and we actually got record
I
low
want to be where the
temperatures
people
too.
are.
It got down to
And
0.
I hate people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be in public, and I don't even like
Parts of the
public.
Arkansas River froze.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that hasn't happened in the 21st century. Even, I don't think it happened all in the 1900s.
1918.
Was the last
Yep.
time?
Yep, 1918. Because I saw a picture.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this was a once in a century storm. The closest thing that I remember, and I was born and raised and lived most of my life in Arkansas. The closest thing I remember was back in the mid '80s, at least in Pine Bluff. In a day, or maybe it was 2 days, we got 12 inches of snow.
I remember that.
And the state shut all the way down for a week.
The most I saw living here was in, what was it? Did we have Alexis when I worked at Jacksonville? Jacksonville Fitness?
Yes.
So she was like 2000, 99, 2000.
Yeah, she would have been a newborn or toddler.
99, 2000, something like that. We got like 8 inches.
Mm-hmm. And I still had to go to work on base. That was awesome. It was funny because I went into work and it started snowing and everything, and they said grab the recall roster, start calling people, tell them not to come in. And, well, there was like 8 of us that had already shown up, so we called everybody, told them not to come in.
Can we go home now?
Yeah, and we were like, all right, so are we going home? They were like, oh no, we got to work. It's like, what the fuck? So I called Amber.
That's what happens when you live on base.
Yeah, I called Amber at home, and I was like, hey, look, they're not letting us leave right now. And she's like, well, you tell them I want you home. I'm like, that is not how that works, and no, I'm not going to tell them.
Okay, I'm saving this. Somebody replied to a picture I shared with a meme, and this is the best meme I've ever seen. It is I shared the picture of Gladys the possum.
Okay.
And it says, I wish I loved exercise as much as I love napping 3 times a day and eating 5 times the suggested serving size. And one of my friends responded with, it's a picture that looks like you've reported the post, and it says, what's going on? And she chose, I'm in this photo and I don't like it.
God.
That one's going in the save folder.
Yeah, that's good. So yeah, Snovid happened like across like 6 or 7 states.
Yeah, Texas, Oklahoma.
I think it was more than that because I remember seeing a picture of the United States and I was just like, holy shit.
But I mean, when it hit us, it was all of Texas, it was all of Oklahoma, all of Missouri, all of Arkansas.
I think a lot of Mississippi.
What do you have?
Like half of Louisiana.
No, ma'am.
What does she have?
And like
Piece of fabric.
3/4 of Tennessee.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I've never seen anything like
and
it.
it was places like us that just don't get that. And people were like, and that did annoy me when people were...
Sorry, I didn't mean to snap at you. That I absolutely did.
Snap.
Like, it kind of did annoy me when people up north were like making little pot shots.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, bitch, you start getting 120 degree weather,
Well, and
you'll see.
They have the infrastructure
We
for
don't.
that. That's not what we get. Our houses have central air conditioning. Theirs don't.
Right.
Our houses are not insulated to handle 0 degree temperatures. Theirs are.
And the thing is, it's not prudent for us to have those in that infrastructure because
for a one-off that happens once in 100
once
years.
in 100 years, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, we haven't had snow at all in several years.
Yeah. I mean, People froze to death in Texas, and I'm not.
And
That's
in
not exaggeration. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Froze to death. It's because like.
I can't remember what state it was. I think it was an older couple were frozen to death on their couch or in their chairs.
Oh, jeez.
Because of those rolling fucking blackouts. Mm-hmm. See, that electric company ought to be held liable for that shit.
Well,
because you will never ever convince me that they didn't have the fucking infrastructure to handle that.
Well, they actually didn't in Texas because they've been off the federal grid for 2 decades, and they've been telling them this was coming, that if something like this came, they were fucked because it's privatized.
That's what they were looking
at. The profits rather than
that's what they're talking about, investigating the ECROT,
it's like some energy coalition that handles the grid
it's
in Texas.
Energy something of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Energy.
Yeah, they wanted them to like winterize. Was it the windmills?
They
wanted them to
the generators too.
The winterize. But I mean, I can understand. It's like it's Texas. It's not
right.
Get them
but they've been telling them for a long time the grid needed to be.
Yeah, and
they were like, oh, well, we want the profits, so fuck you. And now people died.
And you know what happened? And this is from Dan Crenshaw, who is a United States representative from Texas. He said, yeah, the windmills froze, like you would expect, and the solar panels were covered in snow, so neither one of those worked. The gas lines froze. Everything fucking froze.
I mean, but like solar panels and it's not windmills. I mean, it is, but it's
the wind turbines.
Yeah, the turbine. Those can be winterized. It's just kind of like we were saying in Arkansas. It's hard to foresee a once in a century kind of situation. I can understand that a lot more than I can understand, well, we're just going to keep all the profits and get ourselves fat and rich and fuck the little guy. Mm-hmm. You know, when they're saying your grid can't handle a major event. And that's the problem. There are certain industries that should not be privatized, and that's why. Mm-hmm. Because public safety should always come before profits and things like that. That's just like, the potential to make a privatized electric grid, the potential to make billions is right there. But the potential to fuck billions of people over, and it's just like private prisons. There's just too many things that can go wrong, and we've seen that it does.
Mm-hmm.
I've got like a bazillion candles. Like that whole little chest right there, it's just packed full of candles that are like balanced on top of each other. And I've got a ton of blankets. I've got more blankets than anybody ever needs. So if our power did go out, I mean...
we'd be good for 12 hours.
Well, no, I mean, we've got... even if you have to make yourself a little, like, living room tent...
Yeah, they were saying,
to keep body heat in. I mean, we have some... I heard people were bringing inside gas generators and then fucking killing themselves.
Yeah,
but what did you think was going to happen?
People do that in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Wow.
I actually saw, it was on TikTok, and it was like a animal sanctuary in Texas, and they had some exotic animals like, I don't remember what they were, but they had they'd taken the ones that could handle it into the barn. But they had some that were fragile. They just put tarps all over their living room. They had hardwood floors. Mm-hmm. They put tarps down, and they brought the animals hay and brought them in because they were like, if we don't, they will die. They cannot cope with these temperatures.
That's what, we have this outside cat, and when it gets below about 32, before anybody gives me shit.
Yeah, it gets below freezing when we bring it
He
in.
has a heater that points directly into his nice insulated bed.
It could be bitter cold out there. You stick your hand in his little
nook.
It's toast.
Yeah, he's got a cat condo, with a roof and walls, the whole 9 yards. He's got a heater, an electric heater, so we don't have to worry about carbon monoxide. But when it got below, what was it, 30, about 40, I guess, we decided...
I don't know.
30, 40 degrees. We decided we're going to have to bring him in.
I was really
And his ass had to stay inside for 3 or 4 days.
I was really, really worried about our pig. I really was.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't exactly bring the pig in the house.
No.
But...
that'd be funny as shit to see.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. Well, he only has...
I can't even imagine.
He has 8-inch tusks, for the love of Christ. But... I was really worried about him, but what we did is we went and got a pallet to raise so that when he would be out, he would be off out of the wet. Mm-hmm. And we put it in, then we put straw all over it, and what he did is, and we purposely, because we tried giving him big, spacious houses, he destroys them. He's very destructive. He has anger issues. Not really, because he's actually, I guess, for a pig, easygoing. I don't know. He's the only one I've ever known personally. But he just loves to tear shit up, like with his tusks and stuff. And so we got him a barrel that is
To be fair, if I had tusks, I'd probably do the same
right.
thing.
I'd fuck shit up because I could.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to keep them things sharp. You know? But he has a barrel that is not a whole lot bigger than he is, but that turned out to be really good.
That's like a 55-gallon
Drum
barrel. Yeah.
And so what he would do is he'd shimmy in backwards so his little butt was warm and at the back, because there was straw in there too. And then he would take his tusks and use them like a shovel, and he'd do that straw and he'd build him a wall.
Oh, nice.
And then he'd get in there and he'd stay in there until we went out to give him water and food. And then when he would come out, I was so worried about him, he would come out, he would steam.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like when the snow would fall on him, you'd see steam. I was like, God damn, okay, he's snug.
You're toasty.
Yeah. I'm not worried anymore.
Yeah.
Sherman did well. I was like, Ross, what are we going to do? My God, I'm so worried. Because I was like, and I started Googling, like, what can a pig tolerate?
If he did die, you'd have to have someone out there with a
Tractor.
Backhoe, yeah.
bulldozer to lift him up and bury him.
I mean, it'd be like burying a small pony.
Yeah, because he's hundreds of pounds.
Yeah, and it's solid.
Burying a horse is not fun.
Oh, I can
No, we
imagine
did that
not.
once. That was... You have to get a backhoe and they have to dig a hole. It is not...
Oh, yeah, it's not something I'd
No, it is
look
not
forward to.
pleasant. No, it is not pleasant. We had a horse die of old age, and that was just a treat. That was the meanest fucking horse. I don't know if he was just angry because he was old, or if he was just always angry. But goddamn, by the time we got him, he was cantankerous.
Well, hell, what did Dr. Mann say? He was 29 years
Yeah,
old.
we were told he was like 17. He was almost 30 when we got him.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that was.
And how long do they live? Like, what's old for?
Old
He
for
was old as fuck.
like, if a horse lives to 20-ish, that's a good long ripe age for a horse that's taken well care of. So if a horse lives to be like upper 20s, that's like a person in their
Ancient.
like 110s.
Wow.
Yeah. And he'd been a racehorse, for God's sake, so he hadn't had a cushy life. They run those horses hard. But yeah, he was. But yeah, like you said, I was like, oh God, if something happens to him, and then worse than that, if something does happen to him, what will we do? But yeah,
And the ground's frozen, and
like, I guess he keeps to winter. Winter's over. I don't know, but he did great. He was literally steaming when the snow would hit him. So
that was Snovid21.
it was crazy.
Yeah, and it sucked, and I hope we don't have another one while I'm
Not
off.
like that.
So what we want to talk about next is going to hurt some feelings.
Is it?
It's going to.
Okay.
Because I have some relatively strong opinions.
no, I think he's talking about the
No, I'm talking about the fucking Cabot High School
okay.
Oh,
thing.
good God.
So
That woman on there.
So this fucking woman posted about how kids are being...
all right. Keep talking. I'm going to try and pull up one of the... You pull up the one in the group you can see, because there's posts in the group you can't see.
Yeah.
So that way, if we
okay.
want to reference...
So she
She's
wrote this
got
post.
two in the one group.
She wrote this post, and the long and short of it is, kids are being bullied, Cabot School District's not doing anything. Right? Is that a fair assessment?
That was the
start.
gist of what... that's where it
the
began.
abridged version. The rest of it's just fluff. But what she...
It's not fluff.
What she...
Well, I mean,
furry.
they're kind of furry.
Oh, okay.
Fluffy,
What
furry.
she mentioned was...
Oh, she must have deleted the second post she made.
She mentioned some of these kids being furries.
I did not know that was a thing in the high school.
So here's what this is, if you're not aware. These are motherfucking high school kids that act like they're animals.
Did I get
They will
kicked
hiss
out?
at
Oh, there
people.
it is.
They will bark at people. I've heard that
Yeah.
What?
that some of them scratch.
They will meow and hiss and scratch people.
So
I would have so fucking much fun with that.
so right.
Bad kitty, bad kitty.
Alexis had a classmate that hiss and meow.
Yeah, it was our bunk mate in space camp.
Space camp, yeah. Alexis was like, you know who they bunked me with?
So
Meow girl.
So here's the thing. I want to preface everything that I'm going to say with this. I hate bullies. Anybody that's known me for more than that's not funny at all.
No, if you complain about being able to breathe in a mask, you openly admit that furries are stronger than you.
Oh my god.